Today on Q&A Mondays, we're talking about one of the largest construction sectors in our country today, and that's government work. We're going to talk about why some contractors pursue it and why others avoid it. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Metal Roofing Channel. Welcome to Q&A Mondays. I'm Thad Barnett with Sheffield Metals. I have Joe LaCrue from Denver, Colorado, Sheffield Metals branch. Glad to have you on the episode today, Joe.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so any of the questions we talk about today, you can check out in the description below. And we are discussing government work. And as we said earlier, it's a huge part of construction in the country today. And it's unique in that, some contractors chase it and some contractors avoid it. And we're going to get into why that is. So, Joe, tell me a little bit about what types of government work you see today in Denver, in this area.
Colorado has a very big military presence here. We have Buckley Air Force Base here locally in Denver area. We have 3 different, Air Force bases down in Colorado Springs. Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming is up north of us. So there's a lot of military work and a lot of government work here, and which gives a lot of options for our guys.
Yeah, so let's talk about, why some contractors really go after that government work. Talk to me about some of the pros there.
I think some of the biggest benefits is the fact that there is a lot of money, billions of dollars being spent every year by our government for federal work or government work. So with that being said, the consistency of it, whether the economy is up or down, there's always military work to be had. And that's the benefit. I think some of the downside of it is people see the money and don't understand what the work entails. And I think it's probably some of the most stringent work in regards to details as far as the submittal process, insurance requirements. Safety is probably one of the biggest killers for our contractors in regards to not being prepared and knowing what that entails. And every roof project or roofing project has a safety, format that they need to meet, but I think the biggest difference with the military work or government work is that they enforce it. They enforce it every day, and there's no what if OSHA stops by. The government standards are a lot stricter and hold them to a higher expectation.
Yeah, so let's dive deeper into those processes. Talk to me about some of the specifics of those safety requirements and things like that.
It follows the guidelines. I think are the basis of OSHA, but there's different tie-off regulations. There's people there every day watching to make sure your guys have hard hats and glasses and the proper, steel-toe boots and the proper vests. And there's nothing much gets by them. If they see it, they will fine you. They will kick you off jobs. But they're a lot. There's more strict rules, I guess, would be the proper wording for it. Some of the government work is requiring that the general contractors require all trades to do stretching and calisthenics before the project starts every day. I've been witness to this where we showed up and there was 100 guys outside in line stretching, and they said, you have to go do that too.
Wow.
I've never seen that anywhere else, but it's hard for our contractors to account for that in the bidding process if they miss that part of it, because it's not normal in our construction industry. There's no calisthenics or stretching required before a project starts, but some of the military work, they do require that.
So how does Sheffield Metals support someone who is interested in government work or do government work on a regular basis?
I think the biggest thing that, or our biggest support that we give to our contractors is the technical support. Again, it's one of the most stringent submittal processes. Our technical stick was really designed or kind of founded upon if we can meet the military specification, we should be able to meet almost 99% of other projects.
Yeah, so talk to me about the submittal process that the military and government work requires.
So the submittal process, everybody has a specification they have to meet. The government is very strict and very systematic in regards to, they literally go line by line, and if you don't meet something or you didn't provide a document or something, they stop right there and reject it and send it back to you. They don't go through the rest of it and say, hey, you missed these 3 things. They go through it. If something's missing, you get it back and you start all over. And so it's one of the longest submittal processes and by far the most thorough. And basically you want to get them everything they need.
With the amount of stringent requirements that government work has and entails, what qualifications does your labor have to have?
That's one of the hardest parts for our contractors that I've seen in my experience is the fact that, one, in the roofing industry, to get on a military base, you have to be a legal citizen, first and foremost. Two, you can't have any felonies or any outstanding warrants, or they will arrest you when you try to get on the base. And three, sometimes just getting the guys on the base is hard because if they're in a high security zone or a high security area at the time, they're checking every car, and you could be paying 20 guys, and it takes them 2 hours just to get into the base. So I think that's one of the hardest things for guys that do the work to, one, find the guys that are able to get on the, qualified labor to get on the base, and two, having enough of them. A lot of our, roofing in the roofing industry, a lot of the great roofers and really good roofers, maybe they're not legal or maybe they are, but they had, some history with the law. None of those guys can get on that military base to do the work. And that's, I think, one of the biggest problems and why guys don't choose to do military work or choose to go after it.
So talk to me about warranties. How do warranty requirements fit into this?
Kind of along with their stringent submittal process, they also require some of the highest warranties in regards to substrate, weather-tight warranties, paint warranties. In the old days, most weather-tight warranties were 20 years. We as Sheffield started doing them for 35 and 30s and 25s, really to meet government needs, and that doesn't continue to stop or slow down. It's for us, it's simple in the fact that we still install the same amount of detail. The details are the same; they don't change. But at the end of the day, it just costs the government and the contractor twice as much because they want a 35-year instead of a 20-year.
Sure.
And so some of the manufacturers can't or won't meet that. We here at Sheffield try to accommodate our customers' needs, and that was one of the big ones that we decided to do.
All right, Joe, well, I think we covered a lot about government work and why some contractors go after it and why some contractors avoid it. There's a lot to consider there for sure. If you have any questions, comment down below. Subscribe to the Metal Roofing channel, and we'll catch you next time.